What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. It is 5 o'clock in Lakewood Ranch. My name is Adam Miller with the 941 Lifestyle Group, real estate agent, lifestyle matchmaker. Thank you so much for tuning into another live stream coming to you from Lakewood Ranch. I'm glad you guys have joined us. Do me a favor, drop a comment down below. Let us know where you guys are watching from. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, drop those in the comment box below. If you are not watching this live, drop those comments in there anyway. We'll definitely go back and we'll look at them and answer some of your questions. But we definitely want to know where you are watching from. Speaking of questions, we did get somebody who reached out to us during the week, and they wanted to know. Let's get rid of that little scroll on the bottom there, so you can see that. If money were no option, which Lakewood Ranch neighborhood should we move to? I love that question. It's kind of a little loaded question, but I figured I'd put it on there anyway because we actually get this question quite often. And here's why I say it's kind of a loaded question because, I mean, shoot, the Lake Club's the most expensive neighborhood in Lakewood Ranch. I'd say live there, but it really depends specifically about Lakewood Ranch. It really depends on what you're looking for in a community. You can move into a community like Summerfield or Greenbrook that has, no real amenities. There's a couple of parks, or you can move somewhere that is, like a Del Webb that's a 55 and older, or you can move somewhere like Azario Esplanade, which has a golf course and all the amenities you can possibly conceivably imagine. So besides your budget, which will determine which neighborhood you can and cannot afford, we always say, one of the reasons that we're lifestyle matchmakers, start off with what lifestyle activities are important to you and are they important enough that you want them in your neighborhood? Like, for example, you can live in a Summerfield or a Greenbrook that has, a park, but it doesn't have pickleball or tennis or a swimming pool. But you can go to the YMCA and do that. Or if you don't care, it doesn't matter. So kind of a loaded question. We appreciate the questions coming in. But if money is no option, go for the Lake Club. It's nice. All right, I got a couple of cool articles to go over with you today, but I did want to share a little story with you. I went on a listing appointment last week. Didn't get the listing. Not surprised. A little disappointed though. If you've watched this channel, I talk a lot about pricing, and we're going to talk about pricing again very quickly. But I thought our meeting went really well. Excuse me. I had all my data, all my comparable properties, and by all accounts, homes in this neighborhood, they were selling from maybe 365 to maybe 385, I think was the most expensive home to sell. To sell in like the last 5 years. So I walked in the door with all my comparables and having only seen just a few pictures of the house, I was thinking it was probably going to be like 375 to 385. After going in there and talking to the gentleman, I was reluctantly going to list it up to $400,000. And the reason that I went up that high is because it's still in the zone. So if you're looking for a home and your budget is up to $400,000, you would still see that one, even though it's probably worth 375. Now, the comparables showed that any smart real estate agent who went in there with their buyer clients would know that's probably where it's going to sell. It's probably going to eventually sell 380, I guess. And he was interviewing multiple agents. I think he was interviewing, there was 3 before me, there was me, and then 1 other agent. And he told me 2 of the other agents that he interviewed had the same price. Obviously, because we can't make up numbers, the data doesn't lie. Those were the comparable properties, very similar square footage, similar number of bedrooms, all with a pool, all with some updates. But he said he had 1 agent who gave him a price of, I think, $435. So he wanted to list it at like $425 and $450. Now, testing the market is a terrible idea. I went through all the statistics. If you watch this channel, those ones that have been overpriced and sitting in the market for a long time, they wind up selling at like 80-something% of the asking price, as opposed to one that is priced right. On average in Manatee County, they're selling for like 95+% of the asking price, 95, 96% of the asking price in a short amount of time, 45, 60 days, as opposed to 6 months, and eventually selling for 81%. And the gentleman's argument, the seller's argument, was that he spent a lot of money updating his kitchen, and he wanted to recoup some of that money. Now, buyers don't care that you spent a lot of money updating the kitchen. It definitely makes your house more sellable, helps it with some of the price. But just because you spend $100,000 updating your kitchen doesn't mean that you now have $100,000 more expensive home, right? Doesn't make your house more worth $100,000 more. Just makes it slightly more. So pricing it at that price point did make no sense. So I wish them well. Believe me, I'm a real estate agent. There's nothing more than I love of breaking records, but this one was not even in the ballpark. 425, 450, nothing in that neighborhood is ever sold remotely close. Like I said, 385, and I think the house that sold for 385, that was pretty nice. Probably nicer than this other one. But anyway, it was disappointing. And I'm not one of those agents who are going to tell you what you want to hear in order to get your listing. I told that gentleman this as well too. But then I pulled up the stats before the video, and it just kind of reinforces what I already believe. Testing the market, overpriced homes don't sell. So today, there were 54 homes that had to adjust their price down. In the last 24 hours, there are 134 homes that had to adjust their price down. The market rejected their price. It was overpriced. They had to adjust their price. In the last 3 days, and if you've been following me, these numbers have been creeping up. In the last 3 days, 404 homes had to adjust their price down. In the last 7 days, 738 homes had to adjust their homes down. That's the highest I've seen it since I've been doing these little stats. Of those homes, 20 of them were on the market for 300 days or more. 12 of them were on the market for over 400 days. My goodness, that's over a year. 7 of them were on the market for over 500 days. Man, you have to be just so unmotivated. Ah, my gosh, that's so overpriced. And then 4 of them were on the market between 700 and 900 days. Let me say that again. 4 of those homes were on the market for 700 to 900 days. One of those homes had 10 price adjustments, 10. One of those homes had 14 price adjustments, and one of them had 15 price adjustments. I love breaking records, but man, overpriced homes, they don't sell. So I'm going to continue to preach that. Do we lose out on listings for telling sellers the truth? Yep. Do I feel bad? No, because we spend a lot of money when we market homes. And if we market overpriced homes, all we're doing is sending the message to potential buyers that you as a homeowner, you're not really motivated, and other agents are not really going to show your home. Or they'll show your home to help sell another home. I've talked about that as well before too. Mr. Buyer, if you love this home listed at $450,000, let me show you this other home down the street, just as nice, with a swimming pool and updated, and that one's listed at $375,000. And now all of a sudden, your home at $425,000 just helps sell the other home. Why? Because you made the other home look like a better value. All right, let's jump into some of our stories today, and of course, our featured story of the day. There we go. Benderson Sports Complex. Benderson Park Sports Complex enters our next phase of planning. So Benderson Park is just on the other side, not technically Lakewood Ranch. It is just on the other side of I-75. Theoretically, not even a mile away from Lakewood Ranch. Right on the border of UTC Mall, University Town Center Mall. And the planned indoor sports complex at Nathan Benderson Park will also serve as a boathouse for rowing activities. There's a world-class rowing facility there. That's where I did my half marathon early in the, or my 5K, not half marathon, 5K earlier. So this was interesting. From what was once a burrow pit for I-75 construction has emerged over the last 12 years, a best-in-class rowing facility known as Nathan Benderson Park. It's gorgeous, by the way. The next phase of its evolution from what was once literally a giant hole in the ground is a planned indoor sports complex and a boathouse. The facility is planned to be built on the island next to the finishing tower. It's a cool little island. I'll show you this picture in a second. That planning began in January 2022 when the Nathan Benderson Park Conservancy procured a consulting agency to perform an initial feasibility study. At that time, the commissioners approved dedicating $20 million toward the project from the capital improvements, facility funds, the tourist development tax, and a 1 cent levy. So that's kind of an overview of what it currently looks like. And you can kind of see where it is going to come in there. So in addition to a boathouse, the first floor layout of the planned indoor sports complex includes 8 basketball courts, 16 volleyball courts, and 30 pickleball courts. How cool is that right here? So what have we done since then? A whole lot of data collection, focus groups, blah, blah, blah. So here's what it's going to look like. The first floor is going to be $100,000, gosh, I'm mumbling today, 100,000 square foot of playing service, 8 basketball courts, 16 volleyball courts, 30 pickleball courts, 24 wrestling mats, the boathouse with at least 12 storage racks, boat repair space, performance center, rental shop, locker rooms, restaurants, and concession. That's a restaurant, a multi-purpose meeting and or vendor spaces and offices. And then the second floor is going to have a high performance training center, an athlete lounge, a multi-performance room, offices, and court viewing mezzanines. How cool is that? So awesome. Yeah, there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Man, that is just absolutely stunning. So this building that's here on the left is already here. This is just going to be a new one, which right now it's just a giant parking lot. That's where I parked for the 5K. Now, the downside to all that parking going away is that where does everyone wind up parking when you go there? There is some parking there, not a whole ton. There's parking close by, which either means you have to walk or maybe there's a shuttle. I don't know. But anyway, so super excited for that. All right. And then let me see if I can show you this in this picture. You can't really see. So just on this upper portion right here, if you can see this part right here, kind of, sort of, this is coming in. Furniture showroom with a wine bar coming to UTC. So this picture is going to be at University Town Center, just on the other side of that parking lot that I just showed you. Now, if you don't know anything about City Furniture, pretty cool concept. We bought some furniture from City Furniture. A furniture store complete with its own cafe and wine bar is coming to University Town Center, UTC. Are you ready for this? City Furniture is opening up a 120,000 square foot showroom adjacent to the Tesla dealership, which just opened recently, in the last month or so. The new home furnishing store will open in spring of 2025. And there's a bunch of these in Florida. Like if you ever travel on I-4, you can see a bunch of them. And I almost wonder if it's interesting how they look. So 120,000 square foot is not all just where the furniture is. They have a lot of, like a warehouse there with a lot of, I don't know what you call them, but a lot of places where 18-wheelers can kind of back up and load and unload. I'm almost wondering if they just use all of these as kind of like hubs. So we're in Lakewood Ranch, we order something. Of course, it's going to come from here, but prior to this opening, it probably came from one of the facilities in Orlando, and they just probably make their way around and deliver it. But anyway, I thought this was pretty cool. Go check them out online. Yeah, City Furniture, they do a nice job. All right, so this is something, now I don't want to get into political, but this was a news story that came up in my feed. I saw a commercial on it. I was like, is this true? So for those of you who vote by mail, not just during the pandemic, but generally like to vote by mail for whatever reason, there's lots of reasons. People don't want to wait. People are concerned about COVID or other diseases, convenience, a whole lot of reasons. The state of Florida wiped all those records. So if you were somebody who was registered to receive a ballot in the mail, the whole state, they're gone. So you have to re-register. So I am in Manatee County. Lakewood Ranch is in Sarasota and Manatee County. I will put the links in the description down below if you are watching and you live in one of those two counties. If you live in any other county in the state of Florida, go on their website and re-register if you want to vote by mail. But otherwise, there will not be any record of you getting it, and you won't get it in the mail, and it could delay your voting. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. All right, so our featured story of the day. Actually, I found another article about this one too. Um, this was the conversation I was going to have today. Survey: half of Florida small businesses late on rent in June. That's the feature story today. But I did want to bring this up because now I am not a commercial real estate agent. I am a residential real estate agent. So again, not my area of expertise, but you should know about it because if you live in this country, it's going to affect you one way or the other, or certainly businesses near you. Commercial real estate trouble could trigger systematic credit crash, fund managers say. It's kind of scary. About 16% of participants in the Global Fund Manager Survey identified a systemic credit event at the top as the top risk to markets compared to just 11 months prior. And here is why this is the case. About 1.5 trillion with a T in commercial mortgage debt is due by the end of 2025. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all those details, but steeper borrowing costs coupled with tighter credit conditions and a decline in property values brought on by remote work have increased the risk of default. Basically, what this is saying is that there are going to be a lot of businesses who potentially could be defaulting on their commercial loan risk. Roughly 929 billion with a B worth of commercial real estate loans are set to mature this year. Borrowers may have no choice but to refinance with significantly higher interest rates or sell their properties at a steep loss. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates to the highest level since 2001 in response to sky-high inflation. Rates are poised to remain elevated for some time as policymakers have signaled they are not prepared to start reducing rates until they are more confident that inflation has returned to about 2%. Complicating the matter is the fact that small and regional banks, here's where the big issue is going to be. Complicating the matter is the fact that small and regional banks are the biggest source of credit for the $20 trillion in commercial real estate market, holding about 80%, that's so high, 80% of the sector's outstanding debt. Regional banks were at the epicenter of the upheaval with the financial sector last year following the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, and the concerns of the turmoil could make lending standards drastically more restrictive. So that's bad enough. Then you throw in that half of Florida, now this is Florida specific, whereas the article I just read is nationwide service. Half of Florida small businesses late on rent in June. And you can see how it's been slowly increasing. It's been pretty high in the high 30s, which is not good. It's not just the weather on the Gulf Coast hitting peak heat. Unfortunately, for small business owners, all the wrong numbers are climbing up and causing financial heat waves, resulting in rental delinquencies. So June's report revealed that of the 3,690 surveyed, 46% of small business owners could not cover their rent, marking the highest rates for the third consecutive month. The last time the number was higher was in March of 2021. The amount of rent delinquencies was 49%. The Sunshine State is faring worse than the national average. You don't hear that, do you? With 54% of respondents reporting delinquencies, up 7 points from the previous month. Florida ranks the second worst in the nation for delinquencies, behind Texas, which tops out at 58% of owner delinquencies. Go figure that it's Florida and Texas with the two highest delinquency rates. Regarding rent, 56% reported an increase in payments required by their landlord. We're seeing that all over the place, not just Florida. With 72% of owners reporting lower revenues than pre-COVID numbers. And the economic outlook remains bleak for many. Only 28% of small business owners say that they've recovered from the pandemic. Drop a comment down below. Are you seeing this in your neck of the woods as well too? And more challenges come from interest rates and high costs. The majority of respondents, for one, say the interest rate is affecting margins. We talked about that, with 55% noting the higher rates decreases consumer spending and make it more difficult to pay off loans. Additionally, inflation and labor costs continue to be the top concerns, with 35% of respondents reporting inflation as their biggest concern and 79% responding their employees are paid more than they were last year, which they should. One positive data point is the decreasing cost of fuel, which provides relief for transportation, manufacturing, tourism, industries. Anyway, again, I'm not a commercial real estate agent, but I know this is a major issue happening all over the country. I was surprised to find out that Florida, of all the states, who, if you watch the news on Florida, if you know anything about Florida politics, again, I'm not going to make this political, but that's not really the talk of what's happening here in Florida. So I thought I'd share that article with a little dose of reality of what's happening. As I do every week, I always like to talk about some of the incentives that the builders here at Lakewood Ranch are offering. We get people who ask all the time, Adam, what kind of deal can I get on a home here? Now, I've said it before, homes here are selling for about 95% of the asking price. In some neighborhoods, it's as high as 97% on asking price. So if you're expecting to get a lowball offer, not likely. Assume, depending on the home, it's going to probably sell somewhere around that 95, 96% of the asking price. And there's lots of changes obviously happening with the real estate market, but there are a lot of great incentives happening in Lakewood Ranch. I will put a link in the description down below. T.R. Horton has some at Star Farms and a Solera. Lennar has some at Aurora. Lennar has some at Lorraine Lakes. And my home has a couple in Nautique and Sweetwater. Ryan Homes, Toll Brothers at Monterey, Toll Brothers at the Isles. I went through all of these, and it seems like Toll Brothers at Monterey is having a pretty sweet deal. And Monterey, I love this. Actually, picture is by Screensaver, because I did a video there. By the way, probably a good time to let you know that we not only have this channel that you're currently watching, 941 Lifestyle Group, but we also have a channel that we do nothing but home tours. That is 941 Premier Home Tours. I'll put the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe to either one of those channels. If you like home tours, you should love that one. Not just Lakewood Ranch. Like just the other day, we did a video in Siesta Key, a super cool 3-story home. It's on a canal. You can have a pontoon boat. You can have a center console boat. It's got a swimming pool. It's got an elevator, and it's on Siesta Key, which is gorgeous. This one is in Monterey. I love this pool. But anyway, we did a video at the 2 model homes here. There's only 2 model homes in Monterey. This is one of them. It is just gorgeous. You can see, like, this is a little fire pit. There is a swimming pool. There is a beach entry, kind of like a beach area where these little lights are. And of course a hot tub too. But this I thought was cool. Discover up to 50% off design studio selections, up to $100,000 on select homes. Discover quick move-in homes so you can enjoy the luxury home you want, even when you don't have the luxury of time. For move-in ready homes with designer appointed features. Anyway, as with all new construction homes, I say the same thing. There are salespeople who are in the model homes. Super nice, very knowledgeable, super friendly. I'm friends with a lot of them. They represent the seller, which in this case is the builder. You want somebody like us representing you. So if you happen to go into a model home, register us as your real estate agent. Jessica Miller is my wife. She works specifically with buyers. You can put my name down, Adam Miller, with the 941 Lifestyle Group. If you happen to go to the Lakewood Ranch main office on Lakewood Ranch, on Main Street in Lakewood Ranch, you can register us as your agents, and that will be have an effect on any of the model homes. So thought I'd throw that out there. We appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor, keep those comments coming. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what kind of questions you have. Go ahead and subscribe to either one of those channels. There's links in the description down below to all of the stories that we talked about today. Again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. This live stream can be 30 minutes. It can be an hour and 30 minutes. All depend on your interaction, your questions, your comments. So feel free to chime in. And next time, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next Thursday. Have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.